April 26, 2026. Talladega Superspeedway, 188 laps, 40 cars, and one 23-year-old kid from Michigan who had been waiting his entire career for a single moment, sitting on the window ledge of a moving race car, one arm on the wheel, one fist pumping in the air, driving the wrong way down the front stretch in front of 100,000 screaming fans. Carson Hocevar had just won his first NASCAR Cup Series race at his 91st attempt, and before the day was over, his phone would ring with a voice he wasn't expecting. A voice that turned the most emotional moment of his career into one of the most genuine, unscripted scenes in recent NASCAR history. But before we get to that call, you need to understand what it took to get here. Hocevar has been a full-time Cup Series driver since 2023. 3 years, 91 starts, multiple close calls, including a near miss at the 2026 Daytona 500. He came into every race week with raw speed, an aggressive style, and a reputation that made him impossible to ignore, and not always for the right reasons. Two-time Cup Series champion Kyle Busch famously put Hocevar on his personal hate list, citing his reckless driving. Other veterans around the garage questioned whether his aggression was an asset or a liability. For a long time, Hocevar was the guy who almost won, fast enough to contend, but quite measured enough to close. He drove for Spire Motorsports, the number 77 Chevrolet team, not a Hendrick Motorsports, not a Team Penske, a mid-tier organization that quietly believed something was being built. Team co-owner Jeff Dickerson was the person Hocevar credited most after the win, and for good reason. This team had been chasing this moment together. So when Talladega came around for the Jack Links 500, the 10th race of the 2026 season, the stage was already loaded with meaning for the number 77 car. Qualifying was rained out on Saturday. That meant championship leader Tyler Reddick drew the pole by the rulebook, not by speed. Kyle Larson lined up second. With no qualifying order to reflect actual pace, the field was a scrambled deck from lap 1. NASCAR had also adjusted the stage lengths heading into this race, a deliberate attempt to clean up the Talladega Superspeedway product. The goal was to push the racing closer to pure competition and away from the fuel mileage chess match that had frustrated fans and drivers alike in recent years. Stage 1 largely stayed true to that pattern, a chess match. Denny Hamlin came in too hot on pit road on lap 41 and had to serve a pass-through penalty for speeding. Austin Cindric missed his pit stall entirely. Riley Herbst was penalized 3 separate times across the stage, twice for speeding on pit road and once for passing below the yellow line. Even an underdog moment emerged as Chad Fincham stormed to the front and led his first ever laps in the Cup Series on lap 10 before cycling back to save fuel. Ryan Preece won stage 1, crossing the line ahead of Brad Keselowski and Joey Logano, with Fords taking 8 of the top 10 positions. It was a Ford-dominant opening frame, but that dominance would mean nothing once Stage 2 arrived. Stage 1 was a chess match. Stage 2 was an explosion. Lap 115, turn 3. Bubba Wallace was leading. Ross Chastain was directly behind him. The field was stacked 3 and 4 wide, racing at full aggression with the caution board clean. Then Chastain's bumper made hard contact with Wallace's rear at the end of the backstretch. Wallace's car went sideways. It caught Cole Custer immediately, and then the entire pack, traveling at nearly 200 miles per hour, drove straight into a wall of smoke and wrecked race cars. 26 vehicles were collected in the incident, making it one of the biggest crashes in NASCAR history. The record still belongs to a 2002 Busch Series race, also at Talladega, involving 31 cars. The red flag came out immediately. The cleanup took 10 minutes. When the smoke cleared, the damage list was staggering. Ryan Blaney, Joey Logano, Kyle Larson, Bubba Wallace, Cole Custer, Ty Gibbs, William Byron, all either done for the day or severely compromised. Even Tyler Reddick, who had been chasing his 5th win of the season, suffered damage and had to fight simply to stay on the lead lap. Wallace had led the race 3 times before the crash ended his day. He was philosophical afterward. Got wrecked there, unfortunately. Our Xfinity Toyota Camry was a little unstable getting pushed, but manageable. Maybe that hard of a hit was too much, so unfortunately, we wiped out a bunch of cars. Got to debrief, got to be better. Blaney was equally measured. I feel like we all just got pinballing off each other there. It's not like there's any blame on anybody. It's what this thing is. We see each other. We all just kind of get bumping and banging, and one guy eventually gets turned with the car being as unstable as it is. It definitely stinks to be out early. Logano was more pointed. You've got round bumpers on these things, the cars are unstable, and once everyone starts pushing and racing aggressively, it's going to happen. That frustration with the super speedway package was echoed by multiple drivers after the race, and it is a conversation that is not going away. Crucially, Hocevar was also caught in the crash, but his number 77 Chevrolet escaped with minor damage. A pit stop put him back in position, and from that moment, he began a methodical march toward the front. Chastain, despite triggering the big one, stayed clean through the rest of Stage 2 and won it, an irony not lost on anyone watching. Ty Gibbs crashed for a second time shortly after, cutting a right front tire from damage sustained in the earlier incident, bringing out another caution and adding more chaos to an already fractured field. The final stage settled into a brutal two-lane battle. Nobody could make a third lane stick. The pushing game had determined who controlled the front, and Hocevar and Chris Buescher from RFK Racing emerged as the drivers with the best positioned cars. With 7 laps remaining, another caution flew. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. made contact with Hocevar, which sent Hocevar into Eric Jones, whose number 43 Toyota spun multiple times through pit entry and got stuck in the infield grass. That set up a 3-lap shootout with Hocevar and Buescher at the front. On the restart, Hocevar got exactly what the lead car needs at Talladega: push from behind, clean air in front, and the discipline to hold his line. When the white flag waved, he was in the one position that almost nobody gets to hold cleanly at this track. Buescher finished 0.114 seconds back. Alex Bowman was third, Chase Elliott fourth, Zane Smith fifth, also posting the fastest lap of the race. Hocevar led 19 of the final 37 laps and held the field off on 3 late race restarts. This was not luck. This was execution. Bowman said it best. He deserved it for sure. And this is a perfect place for him to get it. The moment Hocevar crossed the line, something shifted. He didn't stop. He didn't wave from the window. He climbed halfway out of the car, sat on the door ledge with his left arm steering and his right fist pumping in the air, and drove down the front stretch, while 100,000 fans at Talladega roared. He styled it out by flooring it, a burnout right in front of the grandstands, tires smoking, crowd losing their minds. It turned out this wasn't improvised. Hocevar had been planning this moment for a long time. "I've had this thought up for a while," he said, "and I've messed it up every which way to not be able to do it. And I don't care if it took me 20 minutes or whatever, I was going to figure out how to do it." And here is where it gets interesting. Because when Cleetus McFARLAND called him after the race, Hocevar revealed where the idea actually came from. "I literally did this celebration on riding on the door at Le Mullets," Hocevar told him on a live press conference call. "That's where I thought of it." A grassroots dirt track moment had turned into a viral NASCAR Cup Series celebration. Social media reflected it immediately. On Reddit's NASCAR community, fans called it the start of the legend and said it feels like the first of many. The Fox NASCAR account's clip of the celebration racked up massive engagement within hours. Just 24 hours before Hocevar's win, the roles had been reversed. Cleetus McFARLAND, the YouTube personality with over 7 million subscribers, who has been building real credibility in stock car racing, had run his first ARCA race at Talladega and finished second. Hocevar had been in the crowd cheering him on, and after the race, ran to congratulate him personally. 24 hours later, while Hocevar was still in the post-race press conference, NASCAR mic'd up a phone call from Cleetus and patched it through live. "Brother, it's Clee. I'm so proud of you, buddy. I am so proud of you. Thank you, brother. I appreciate it, dude. Dude, you drive that thing to the front every weekend. I knew it was coming. I knew you were going to do it. You drove your tail off. Great job. We're all so proud of you, man." Hocevar fired back. "I hope you were jumping on the wall or wherever the hell you were, but I hope you were jumping up like I was yesterday. You're going to win one soon." Cleetus replied, I was screaming, and then the burnout. Immaculate, brother. Immaculate. Nobody scripted that exchange. Nobody manufactured it. Two guys who genuinely believed in each other, on opposite sides of the same weekend, sharing a moment that crossed the line between traditional motorsport and the new generation of racing culture. That is what made it land the way it did. After the race, Hocevar sat 8th in the Cup Series standings, 70 points above the chase cut line. For a Spire Motorsports driver, that is not a position anyone outside that building expected at race 10. Bowman climbed to a season-best third-place result while recovering from a 4-race absence due to vertigo. Toyota was shut out of the top 10 entirely, the first time in the 2026 season that had happened. Reddick maintained his 110-point championship lead over Denny Hamlin despite a 14th place result. Logano dropped to 15th in standings, just 12 points above the cut line, with 4 of the next 5 races on traditional ovals, exactly the track type his team has struggled on. His Talladega DNF was a result the number 22 team absolutely cannot afford to repeat. On the team side, Jeff Dickerson made clear this win was not a one-off. He said this victory felt different from Spire's previous rain-assisted Daytona result because it was settled clean on the racetrack, under pressure. His message afterward was simple: "We're not done." Hocevar himself woke up the next morning and posted on Instagram, "Tears in my eyes watching the footage and edits and reactions. Genuinely unbelievable. So thankful that this feeling is exactly what I dreamt it would feel like. Thank you, everyone." In his post-race comments, through tears and crowd noise, he said what everyone watching already felt: "This is the biggest dream I've ever thought of. Thank you, everybody. I couldn't have done it in any better way. Hopefully my grandfather is watching. My grandmother died last year, and I'm just so thankful I can give my grandfather a trophy now. 91 races." He said he knew he was going to win. He really did.